It's a burning hot Chicago summer. My parents are away for a whole month, and they ask my 44-year-old godfather Marcus to stay with me in our luxurious apartment, so I'm not alone. He's always been my Uncle Marcus, tall, handsome, successful, and extremely off-limits. But during a brutal heat wave with multiple blackouts, something changed. One night, with the power out and sweat dripping down our bodies, he looked at me and whispered, "You're not my little Bella anymore." What happened next over the next 3 weeks was the most forbidden, intense, and addictive secret of my life. My own godfather turned me into his lover, and I loved every single second of it. Stick around till the end, because this story gets dangerously hot. It was the middle of July in Chicago, and the city was burning under a brutal heat wave. I, Isabella, had just turned 20 and was spending the summer alone in our luxurious downtown apartment. My parents had left for a month-long business trip to Singapore and Tokyo, leaving me in the massive 3-bedroom penthouse with floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking Lake Michigan. Before leaving, my father made one call. "Marcus, I need a favor," he said. "Isabella is staying home alone. With this heat wave and all the break-ins happening lately, I'd feel better if you stayed with her for a few weeks." Marcus had been my godfather since I was born. At 44, he was still incredibly handsome, tall, broad-shouldered, with salt and pepper hair, sharp jawline, and deep brown eyes. He was successful, sophisticated, and had always treated me like his own daughter. Or, at least he used to. Now things felt different. Marcus arrived that evening with his suitcase. He was wearing a fitted black shirt and jeans, looking more like a successful businessman than my godfather. "Bella," he smiled warmly, pulling me into a hug. His big arms wrapped around me, and I caught the scent of his expensive cologne. "You've grown up so much. Look at you." I was wearing a thin white tank top and tiny cotton shorts because of the heat. I felt his eyes linger on me for a second longer than usual. The first few days were normal. Marcus would go to his office during the day and come back in the evening. We'd cook dinner together, watch movies, and talk for hours. He told me stories about his college days, and I told him about my life at college. He kept complimenting me, how beautiful I had become, how confident I was, how proud he was of me. One night, the power went out. It was 11 p.m., and the entire building plunged into darkness. The heat was unbearable. I was sweating even after taking a cold shower. I came out of my room wearing a light silk robe over my lingerie. "Marcus," I called out. "I'm in the living room," he replied. The only light came from the city skyline and his phone's flashlight. He was sitting on the large sectional sofa in just a tank top and shorts, his muscular arms glistening with sweat. "It's too hot," I complained, fanning myself. "Come sit here," he said, patting the spot next to him. "At least there's a breeze from the window." I sat close to him. Our thighs were almost touching. The silence between us felt heavy. "You really have grown into such a stunning young woman." "Bella," he said softly, his voice lower than usual. "Sometimes I still see you as that little girl who used to sit on my lap, but you're not a little girl anymore." My heart started beating faster. I looked at him. In the dim city light, his face looked incredibly attractive. "Godfather," I whispered. "Call me Marcus tonight," he said gently. We talked for a long time. About life, desires, loneliness. He admitted that after his divorce 3 years ago, he hadn't been with anyone seriously. I told him I had only been with one guy in college, and it wasn't special. The tension was building. The next night, another blackout hit. This time it was worse. The temperature inside the apartment reached 95 degrees Fahrenheit. I couldn't sleep. I went to the living room. Marcus was already there, shirtless, wiping sweat from his chest with a towel. "I can't sleep," I said. "Neither can I," he replied, his eyes slowly traveling down my body. I was wearing a very short, thin nightdress that clung to my curves because of the sweat. He stood up and walked to the open balcony door. I followed him. The warm night breeze did little to cool us down. "Marcus," I said, standing very close to him. He turned and looked at me. The way he was staring made my knees weak. "Bella, we shouldn't," he whispered, but his hand gently touched my waist. I know, I replied, stepping even closer. But I want to. That was all it took. He pulled me into his arms and kissed me. It wasn't gentle. It was hungry, passionate, years of hidden desire exploding between us. His strong hands roamed over my back as he pressed me against the glass wall of the balcony. We moved back inside to the couch. He slowly untied my nightdress, letting it fall to the floor. I stood there in just my panties as he looked at me with pure lust. "You're so beautiful," he murmured, kissing my neck, my collarbone, then my breasts. I moaned softly as he took one nipple in his mouth. I pulled down his shorts. He was rock hard and bigger than I had imagined. I wrapped my hand around him, stroking slowly while he groaned. Marcus laid me down on the large couch. He kissed every inch of my body, taking his time, making me tremble with need. When his tongue finally found my most sensitive spot, I cried out, grabbing his hair as waves of pleasure hit me. After I came on his tongue, he positioned himself between my legs. "Are you sure, Bella?" he asked one last time. "Yes, Marcus, please." He entered me slowly, stretching me, filling me completely. The feeling was overwhelming. We moved together in the dark, sweaty and desperate. The city lights flickered through the windows as he made love to me with deep, powerful strokes. That night we did it twice, once on the couch and later in my bedroom where he took me from behind while I held onto the headboard. The next morning, I woke up in his arms. He was gently stroking my hair. "Last night," he started, "was perfect." I finished, kissing his chest. From that day on, everything changed. During the day, we tried to act normal, but the moment the sun went down, we couldn't keep our hands off each other. We made love in almost every room, the kitchen counter, the shower, the balcony late at night, even my parents' bed when the heat became unbearable. Marcus was experienced and patient. He taught me things I had never imagined. Some nights he was gentle and romantic, whispering how long he had wanted me. Other nights he was rough and dominant, pinning my hands above my head while he took me hard. One night during another major blackout, we lit candles all over the living room. I rode him slowly on the couch, our bodies shining with sweat, while the city glowed behind us. "You're mine now, Bella," he growled, gripping my hips. "I've always been yours," I moaned. 3 weeks passed like this. My parents were coming back soon. On our last night together before they returned, Marcus took me to his bedroom. He made love to me for hours, slow, deep, and emotional. After we both finished, he held me tightly. "This has to stay between us," he whispered. "No one can ever know." "I know," I said, tracing my fingers on his chest. "But I don't want to stop." He kissed my forehead. "Neither do I." When my parents returned, we went back to pretending godfather and goddaughter. But every time our eyes met across the dinner table, the secret burned between us. Marcus still comes over when my parents are away. And every single time, we pick up right where we left off. Our forbidden summer changed everything. And we both know we can never go back to how things were.